if I traded it all.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am so excited because there's so much going on, and I'm going to want to tell everybody everything, but I can't say a lot. So I'm going to just say that, yes, I am bringing this show. I'm going to still be doing radio, but I'm also going to be doing television. We're going to be on AZ TV Channel 7. You're going to hear a lot about it. I'm going to just keep it at that. I'm going to keep, and you'll hear lots of little stuff. I don't want to take a lot of time from everybody that's on the show, but I want to say that we are live on Facebook, so I want to say hi to everybody out there that's follow us, like us, do all of that. All of these things that you're hearing on today that you can also call in. I'm going to go in right with my two guests. One is here, and the other one is calling in. So I have with me Monty Flack, and he's with True Wealth Legacy. Also, Dr. Dick Dykman, he's calling in, and I know he has a lot to say. Just welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Doctor, I know you're calling in, and you're busy, but I do know you're very passionate about this, and you have some things to say. So go ahead.
Great, Carol. Thank you very much. Can you hear me all right?
I sure can.
Okay, super. And thank you again for having us. And so I'm going to intro just for a moment about the stuff that we covered in the last several programs, one of which, and the most important one of which, is that I want to remind your listeners that everything we purchase, everything we pay for, everything we buy, we always finance. That means that we either use someone else's money and pay interest to those individuals or banks or finance companies for the use of their money, or we use our own money and we have forever lost the earning capacity of that money to make more money for us, for our family, for our generations to follow. That's the first and most important thing. We always finance every single purchase. And the second one is that our corner banks are in the business of lending money, and we have always been used to doing that. And so that involves 4 players, and Monty's going to discuss those players and how we can step into that role in today's program. But I just want to remind everybody that there's always a bank owner of your corner neighborhood bank. There's a banker who works in the bank, and you interact with that banker. And then you are either a saver with the bank and or you are a borrower with the bank. And when you save, you contribute money to the money pool that the bank has that it can then lend out to other borrowers. And does the bank have anything at risk? The answer is no, other than they have to make good loans and they have to make sure that they've got a good borrower. But basically, whose money are they using? They're using your money, your listeners' money. And then if you're a saver, you collect your savings until you have enough money saved up, and then you can go out and buy the product or buy the service. But then you have to start saving all over again because you've depleted your savings. And so that sounds like it's smart, except that you never get past. You have to save, spend the money, save, spend the money, save, spend the money. You just don't get ahead. Now, if you're a debtor, you can still use other people's money, and you're going to pay interest for that utilization of the money. You're going to buy your service or your product, and then you're going to spend time paying back the money that you borrowed along with the interest, and then you have to do that all over again. But guess who gets the profit of the interest? Whoever you borrowed the money from. And so now Monty's going to take over and explain the players in the game of banking and how actually it's totally feasible for individuals to become both the bank owner, the banker, the saver, and the borrower. So, Monty, will you take over now?
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Dykman.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good day. Just to elaborate on what Dr. Dykman was talking about, your conventional banks, I don't want to say their names, but we know what they are. As soon as you put money into that bank, they now have to create, it's a liability for them because now they're paying you interest on that money. And that's what he's talking about, savers and so forth. And then people come in and borrow the money. That's how banks make so much money. And banks are actually the most profitable business in the world. They're just making a lot of money.
Hand over foot.
Yeah. So how can we do the same thing banks are doing? When you make a deposit into the bank and then you go back and borrow money for, let's say, a car, you're borrowing your own money, per se, and they're charging you interest for that use of that money. Obviously, you might not have the full amount in there, but that's what's happening. Well, the bank's making a profit. When we borrow money, we typically use it to go spend, to go purchase a product, a car, whatever the case may be. Well, the bank is actually selling money. When they sell it, they're charging you an interest rate. And I don't care if you're saying, well, I got, 2% interest rate. They're still making money. Remember, they're paying you 0.01%, and they're charging you 2, 3, I've seen people get charged as high as 18% for the use of the bank's money. Well, somebody's making a profit off that. Bank makes a profit, and their shareholders get to participate in that. They get what's called a dividend. So when you go out and earn money and then go use the bank's money and so forth to make your purchases, you have given up that money to ever create any more money. And one of my favorite books is The Richest Man in Babylon. He says, you fool, you're eating the children of your children. In this case, you're spending the children of your children, stating that that money can no longer serve you once it leaves your hand. Well, where can I create a system just like the banks do? And that is with dividend-paying whole life insurance. A policy created, designed especially for you. Well, I won't get into the intricacies of how it's designed, but we create cash value, and that means that you have access to that money. So I can be a saver by putting it into a whole life insurance policy. I can be a borrower because I borrow from my policy or from the life insurance company using my cash value as collateral. I pay back, which means I am also the banker. The life insurance makes a profit. I am also a part owner. As soon as I take a policy, I am a part owner of that insurance company with a mutual company. Therefore, I get a dividend. I am all four players. Therefore, I create my own wealth. And it's a secure wealth. I know exactly what I'm going to have. It's not playing the stock market, hoping the stock market goes up, and I make some money. It's just a fabulous system.
Let me ask you something, because, we're going to give away the book.
Yes.
And the book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. It's Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept. It's by best-selling author R. Nelson Nash. And I've been reading the book. And, it is true that you have to have somebody help. And that's where you come in. And that's what we want to talk about a little bit. You do free consultations with people all the time. I want to open up the lines for the audience, for everybody to call in and get the book. And I'm reading it, and it's fascinating as to what, you had said before that this isn't something brand new.
No.
It's how people a long time ago used to make money, right?
Correct. From my understanding and from my studies, this was taught in the school system prior to 1913. Well, there's two events that occurred in 1913, the IRS and the Federal Reserve. Well, after that, it was no longer taught. Well, there's still some practitioners of infinite banking during those, from 1913 to current date, and those are typically the wealthy and the banks. One of the reasons why we use dividend-paying whole life insurance as our vehicle for this process is because banks are the largest purchasers of life insurance in the world.
We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, I want to talk further. We're going to leave the lines open for everyone to call throughout the rest of the show. It's fascinating, and we've had people even while you're talking that say, I'm really doing that right now too. I'm very interested in that. A lot of people are going in a whole different direction, becoming control of your own money and being able to be your own banker. The number here to get the book is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Welcome back, everyone. So we're talking with Monty Flack, and you are a coach, and you're here to teach everyone and kind of get the word out about this. I think once we first met, and we were so excited about being able to come back and to talk to everyone. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get this book, the book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. It's Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept, and our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You know, it's something that it's informational, and you read it, and it's something, whether you do it or not, that's your choice, but it is wonderful to have, you know, someone like Monty who can kind of help you, guide you, understand, and listen to him now and tell everybody out there, you know, how you got into this.
Well, back in 2009, one of my mentors invited me to a presentation in Flagstaff. So I attended the presentation, and it was presented by my mentor in infinite banking, Ray Poteet, in Living Wealth. And after that weekend, I stopped doing everything I was doing with my money. I was contributing to a 403B as a former high school teacher, and just redirected that money. What was going into my 403B, which was very little, because as you see in the news today, teachers are fighting for higher pay. Well, it was even less when I got started, and I redirected it into a policy. So my very first policy was only a $5,000 policy, but it got me started. And since then, you know, I've expanded my banking system.
And you've been able to purchase, you said real estate, lots?
I've used it for real estate. It's been amazing to the uses that I have done with it, and Dr. Dyson.
So all you teachers out there that are listening right now, that are, you know, struggling, this is something to look into. It's everyone. I just said that right now. It just so happens that you are, and it's huge in the news right now.
Oh, yeah.
It is for everyone, and that's what I love about my show, is for people to listen to this kind of stuff and find out, get the information, read the book. I'm reading the book. I'm fascinated by it. It's something that sometimes you need a little help when, you know, and that's why you do these free consultations. You're here to help everyone. You're even going to be having some seminars that are going to be coming out. Or what is it? Not seminars, webinars.
Webinars.
Right.
Yes. So if anybody calls in and we touch base with you, we can get you signed up for our first webinar coming up May 2nd. You know,
so that's right around the corner.
That's right around the corner. And what's so nice about that, you can just sit there at home and pay
or you could be in your car right now listening and taking this information and calling in. But of course, yes, we want you to do that. And you know, I think you're coming on again in May too. Correct. So we'll be able to find out how that's going too. But right now, call in, get this information. The book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. It's Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept. And our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show to get this book. And I highly think that people should do this because we should be taking control of our own money no matter what. Exactly.
If you want to have a certain amount of money for retirement, you need to take control of your money. And unfortunately, the system doesn't teach that. It says give up your money to so-and-so, 401ks here, there, everywhere else, and you lose control. You don't have any guarantees of what kind of retirement you might have, what kind of cash flow you might have. With dividend-paying whole life insurance, there's a guarantee. There's 4% compounding, and it's true compounding. And that's what's so powerful about this, is once that compounding, that money is put into my policy per se, I can never lose it. I can never lose a penny within my policy.
You're only going to make money.
I'm only going to make money. I woke up today a little richer than I was yesterday.
I like that.
And it all has to do with what environment do I have my money in. I have it in the only true compounding vehicle that exists in the world today. There's only two products in the world that have true compounding. One is a certificate of deposit, but there's a problem there. If I take money from there, let's say I have $10,000 in a CD, and I take $4,000. Now I only have earning power on $6,000. I lost earning potential on that other $4,000. In a dividend-paying whole life insurance policy designed for this process, I never lose money. So it is true compounding. If I have $10,000 in a policy and I borrow 4, I'm still earning interest on 10.
Now we have our lines open here, and you can call in and get the book. It's Becoming Your Own Banker, Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept. It's by best-selling author R. Nelson Nash. And our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. They always do free consultations for everyone so that, you start reading it and you become in awe of what people used to do a long time ago. It's nothing new. You've even said that the banks do this.
Correct. The banks are the largest.
I listened to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, the banks are the largest purchasers of dividend-paying whole life insurance in the world. And in fact, from 2014 to 2016, they increased their premiums by 200%. Corporations use this. Walmart owns over 1.2 million policies. Why? Why are they doing that? There's got to be a reason. And it's because of the true compounding effect and the cash value within the policies. When it's designed properly, there's cash value.
Now, Dr. Dykman, I don't know if you are on the line still or not, but if you have anything that you want to say, you feel free to come chime in now. He might not be on the line anymore. Okay, let's just go ahead because, it is fascinating, though, to listen to him, too, and what he's done. I mean, he runs his whole practice on it.
He does not spend a penny without running it through his policy. And Dr. Dykman owns quite a few policies.
Right.
And he runs his practice through it. Yes.
He's an orthodontist here.
He's an orthodontist in Chandler, and he runs all his overhead through his policies.
It's amazing when you listen to him. Yeah. And again, it's all just informational. The book, again, I'm going to leave the lines open to the audience for everyone to get it. I'm reading it, and it's sometimes you can't, it's not like a book that you read and you get into it and it's fascinating, but you do sometimes have to kind of understand it a little bit.
Right, and the book will only take you so far, and that's where we come in, to help coach you, guide you, and help you implement a policy.
I can't wait for your webinars to happen.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's going to be exciting.
We don't just sell you a policy and you're on your own. We're there to help you through the whole process, whether, you're a family man or family person, to help run your household through it, to recapture the cost of your cars, the cost of your just running your household. Or if you're a business owner, we have strategies for everyone.
Let me ask you a question, because there's a lot of type of people out there. People that have some money to be able to do stuff like this with, some people that don't, right? That they would wonder, well, how much money does it cost, to have to get started?
We will help you figure that out.
It's different for everybody.
It's different for everyone. And like I said, when I first started, it was $400 a month. What was going into my 403B, I just redirected it. That's all I could afford at the time. But since then, I've gone bigger and so forth. When I learned this process and I looked at what my retirement would be with the school system, there was no way I could live off that. No way. So now the way I have it, I will more than triple what my retirement would have been with the school system. And then there's some tax advantages to where I have it now with my policy.
And you can call them direct. They do free consultations always. That number to call is 928-241-0668. But I say call in here. Get the book. That's what you really need. You need to start off with the book so you have that, and then you can start reading it, and then, of course, you're going to want to call them.
Correct. Touch base. Get the book. From there, we can set up a time to meet or do a webinar, one-on-one webinar with whomever. That way they don't have to travel around the traffic in this.
The number to call here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. What would you want to leave them with today? You have a couple of minutes.
That money isn't exactly what they've been taught. The rules of money are not what they've been taught growing up, what maybe their parents have passed down to them. It's not true. To learn the truth about money. Warren Buffett said it, I believe, is in 2006.
Does he do it too?
I'm sure he does.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Well, if he does it, we all got to do it.
You would be amazed. And in fact, if you go back, Google Walt Disney with this, Disneyland wouldn't have started if Walt Disney hadn't borrowed from his policy.
Quickly, what did he say? Leave him with that.
Oh, he said if poor people would do what rich people did, they wouldn't be poor any longer.
Well, you got to call in and get the book. The book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. It's Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept. It's by best-selling author R. Nelson Nash. And our lines, I'm going to keep these lines open for everyone to call throughout the rest of the show. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Start with getting the book. Did you want to leave them with something?
Well, yeah, thank you. And call. Get started.
602-277-5369.